Welcome back. For this coding challenge, you had to write a Python program that removes all the occurrences of a given element in a list. Not just the first one. If we use the remove method directly, we will only remove the first occurrence of an element from left to right. We will not remove the element entirely from the list, so we need to write a more elaborate program for this purpose. First of all, we have to start by defining a list and a variable to store the element that we want to remove. Okay, in this case, we have the list with the elements 3, 3, 2, 1. We want the final output to be a list with the elements 2 and 1. So how can we start thinking about this problem? We want to remove the element 3. We need a conditional, of course, because we have to print different messages based on different conditions, or do different things based on different conditions of the list. First of all, let's check if the list is empty. We're using the fact that lists are truthy and falsy values. So if the list is empty, it will be false, and if it's not empty, it will be true. If we add not before the list, before the name of the list, we will be checking if the list is empty. If the list is empty, then we can print empty list. Else, if the list is not empty, then we have to start thinking about the element that we want to remove. We have to start considering that. And the first thing that we need to do is to determine if the element that we want to remove is actually in the list. And how can we do that? We can use the count method. The count method is used to get the number of occurrences of a given element that we pass within parentheses in the list. We say my list, count, and we pass the element that we want to remove. If that count is equal to 0, then that means that the element is not even present in the list, so there is nothing to remove, and we print the message not found. Else, if the count is different from 0, it's greater than 0, then the element is in the list and we have to start removing it from the list. To remove all the occurrences of the element from the list, we need to use the remove method. We are going to use it, but we have to use it in a more elaborate way. In a way that will remove all the occurrences of the element. How can we do that? We need to repeat the remove operation, which removes the first occurrence of the element, as many times as needed to remove all the occurrences. So let's see this example. If we have the initial list 3, 3, 2, 1, and we call the remove method, this will remove the first occurrence of the element 3. We want to remove the element 3. So we will get this list, 3, 2, and 1. Then, if we call remove again with the same element, now the first occurrence will be this one right here. We removed this one, and we got this one in that version after the first call. Then, we are going to remove this one, and we will get the final version of the list that we need. After that, we had to call the remove method twice, as you can see right here. Why? Because we had 2 occurrences of the element. So we are going to call remove as many times as the element appears in the list. And that is exactly why we have this call to range. Range, with this particular call, is going to let us execute the loop and call remove once for every occurrence of the element in the list. We call the method count with the element to remove on the list, and that will return the number of occurrences of the element in the list. Once we have that, we pass it as the argument to range, and we use it in the loop to repeat the process as many times as we need to, once for every occurrence of the element in the list. Great, so let me delete this, and after that, of course, we print the final version of the list. Let's save the file and run the code to see how this works. As you can see, the output is 2, 1. The 2 number 3s that we have right here were removed. Let's see a different example. If we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we want to remove the number 2, in this case we just have 1 occurrence of the element, then we will get the final value 1, 3, and 4. The number 2 was successfully removed. Great. Let's test this with strings A, B, C, and D. And we want to remove the letter B, for example, from the list. As you can see, the letter B was successfully removed. We have A, C, and D. So this works with strings as well. Now let's see and check what happens when we have a list and we try to remove an element that is not in the list. For example, let's try to remove 7 from this list. We get the message not found, and we also see the list as the output. You could do this if you want, or you can just indent this print statement so we only see the message not found as the output. And finally, if we have an empty list and we want to remove any given element, for example 0, we see the message empty list, like we defined it right here in our conditional. Great, so now you know how to solve this coding challenge. Great work!